Welcome back to another edition of Everything Football. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson. I'm going to get into this thing what we have right now. Today is April the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. We have about 6 more days, roughly, till it's been a month, going back to March 9th, since Tony Romo was expected to actually be released from the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Romo left a heartfelt message on his Twitter page and about thanking the Dallas Cowboy fans, his opportunity and all things done, because he was pretty much expected to be actually released March 9th. Well, we're getting close to coming up to a month and he has not been released. Although the news today that now Jerry Jones will have allowed other teams, other 31 teams, to get in some talks with him to visit with Tony Romo at this time. Even though Tony Romo still will be a Dallas Cowboy, it's starting to possibly heat up that he'll probably get ready to possibly be maybe traded. I highly doubt with the salary that Romo is carrying. He's set to make $14 million this year and 17, which is quite a bit of lot of money for a backup. This is not the way Jerry Jones wanted this to go. As we all well know, it's documented that Jerry Jones and Tony Romo are pretty close. But also over the past week, we've also found out that Tony Romo actually distanced himself from teammates and coaches, and whatnot. I think Tony Romo probably was told various things by Jerry Jones. That's why he made the heartfelt little thing that he had on his Twitter account that he made, that okay, yeah, they had probably talked to him, going to release you, but he never released him. He knows that 2014 was statistically one of Romo's greatest years. Romo was named towards for the Pro Bowl at that particular time, and he also was made All-Pro second team. Dallas had a very good record that year, ended up getting bumped out in the divisional round by the Green Bay Packers. Romo, basically in the last 2 years, has basically only played 5 games. He's been injury prone, and this is one of the main reasons why a lot of these particular things are going on right about now. Tony Romo was coming into the 2016 season. The team was looking good. Like, nobody, even myself being a Cowboys fan, did not see this actually coming. But Romo gets hurt in the preseason and figured that, okay, well, he had this 4th round rookie that was going to play Dak Prescott, and then with him playing, maybe the team could salvage it pretty decent. Romo would come in and save the day, and the team could probably march on to a Super Bowl. That didn't happen. Dak Prescott came in, 11 streak win, won their division, and was named NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, which that was basically the curtain call for Tony Romo, because Tony Romo is 36, getting ready to be 37 April 21st. And it's only right now that it's time for Mr. Jones to do something, to not have Romo lingering over Dak Prescott's shoulder, with him wanting to be able to still play. I understand that Romo still wants to play, but now this is Dak's team. Now we go up now. It is time, at this particular time, for him to go ahead and let Romo do what he needs to go do to pursue another team. It's been talks about the Broncos. It's been talk about the Houston Texans. When he'll be able to stay in Texas. These are teams that have 2 strong defenses, and they just need their quarterback. They just need a quarterback, a solid quarterback. I think Romo wants to do something what Peyton Manning did a few years ago, although Romo is not on the level as a Peyton Manning as far as that's concerned, but Romo has put up favorable numbers over the past years of him starting. Romo has over 34,183 yards, 248 touchdowns, and he has been a 4-time Pro Bowler, and like I said, in the second team All-Pro. So, and he will be probably in the Ring of Honor once his playing days are over, in the Dallas Ring of Honor. But one of the things I think that's clawing at Jerry Jones is the fact that he has a team that he's finally assembled, and he always wanted to make sure that Romo was going to get an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl, because he paid him like he was an upper echelon quarterback. Romo was a very good quarterback, and it could be spectacular at times, but sometimes he could break your heart. Never really doing great in the playoffs, but Romo was always a very solid, very good quarterback, and like I said, at times could be extremely spectacular. And we know Jones paid him like he was a Peyton Manning, or paid him like he was a like he was a Tom Brady and all the other guys, of Roethlisberger and guys like that. That's fine, but those guys have Super Bowl rings. And he had a team and thought everything was all lined up, and Romo gets hurt. Unfortunate. Now Romo has an opportunity to go to a team that is basically has Super Bowl defenses that just need a quarterback. And this is one of the main reasons I think why Jones keeps holding these things up, but he has to let this particular situation go for his younger quarterback to develop. One of the fascinating things I found out about it, if he goes to whatever team that he goes to, which is probably going to be between those two teams, those teams are not worried about trying to trade. They want him to become a free agent and not want him to become a free agent so they can possibly take on it's in his contract, but break it down a little bit more, not giving him being $14 million at a 37-year-old quarterback for a year. And then as it goes into 19.5 and 18 and 20.5 and 19, which I don't honestly think that Romo's actually be worth that amount of money. It would actually break Jerry Jones' heart if it ever got to a particular point where he could actually go to another team and be a Super Bowl quarterback. And let's say you win a Super Bowl and come up with great stats for that year and win a Super Bowl. Is it possibility that Tony Romo could be Hall of Fame worthy by that time? Because his numbers for the past 10 years are pretty much favorable or very good of quarterbacks of that particular, of the era of anywhere from 06 to 2014, 15, 16 over the past 10 years. And his numbers are favorable. And that's one of the main things I don't think Jerry Jones wants to see. He doesn't want to see that end up happening. And he needs to get to a particular point where he needs to let this go, let this man go ahead and get to another team so he can get to another team and start readying himself for the 2017 season. But at the same time, with Dallas needing and get some cap space freed up for the Cowboys so that they are able to sign pass rushers or defensive ends and cornerbacks, because that's something that they desperately need. And they've taken a bunch of hits in the secondary on that other side of the ball as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with Romo at this particular time. Seems like it's a start with Romo being able to have other teams to look at, and like I said, maybe possibly facilitate a trade with these teams. But even though the two front running teams, that's Denver and Houston, are not really wanting to trade, they gotta want him to become a free agent so they can do the money in a particular way. Which that'd be obviously a good on their part with an aging quarterback who's been frail over the past couple of years. So it's only right for that to happen. So we have to see what happens, ladies and gentlemen, with this. I would like to see. It would be nice, but it is time for Romo to move on from the Cowboys, and it's time for Jerry to go ahead and let Romo go. That's the best thing for him to do at this particular time and be clear on both sides of the part. I think he's gotten a little testy over the past couple of weeks because I think Romo was under the impression that Mr. Jones was going to release him at March 9th, and like I said, we're getting ready for that to be close to a month. And it hasn't happened, but this, I think, is a start in the right direction for the inevitable to happen with Tony Romo. And we'll have to see what happens with it. Interesting topic. And we'll see what happens with Mr. Romo and Mr. Jones. You have an opportunity, come check me out at my YouTube page, Everything Football 62. You can check me out on the Twitter, Everything Football 62, Uncut Men 62. And subscribe to the YouTube page, and then you can become a follower also at Twitter. All right? Thank you.